friends, welcome back. For those who don't know me, I'm Kat. I'm a wife, a homeschool mom, and an avid reader. It is almost April, which means it's time to look at what I plan on reading during the month. During April, I have two readathons going on that I'm participating in that tend to take over at least most of the booktube world that I am in. One of those is the Magical Readathon with I just totally went like with G from Book Roast. I will link her information below. And this is a magical school that G has created called Aurelium, and we are taking our spring. We are taking our spring exams right now for our professions. So this year, G came out with a few new professions, and one of them really excited me. And that one is the wild. Hold on, let me get the name so I get it right. The wild form druid. For the wild form druid, this is a character who can shapeshift. There will be very specific things with this, and this is one that the syllabus is kind of clear about, that this is a profession that you take on, or a training that you take on, knowing that this is it. For me, I deal with a lot of anxiety over making a choice for something as silly, as inconsequential as a readathon and this RPG type character, and many times I don't get my prompts done. So I picked this one partly because I think it's cool to be able to change shape, but also because it will help me to stay kind of focused. I won't be able to switch near as much as I try to in other things. So for Magical Readathon and the Wild Form Druid, I have 8 prompts that I need to read for during April. The first prompt, is Animal Studies, and this is heads or tails. And I'm supposed to flip a coin, and if it's heads, I'll read a nonfiction pick. If it's tails, I'll read a fiction pick. For these, I have already picked out kind of what fiction and what nonfiction book I will read for this. One of them, the nonfiction, will be 100 Sundays. This is a story of this is a memoir, I think. It's nonfiction, so I assume it's in more memoir form. If not, it's just someone telling a biography of a journalist who visits a Nazi internment camp survivor. And he goes and visits her every Sunday for 100 Sundays, just to kind of understand some of what she went through and some of the struggles that happened with the being in the internment camps and things like that. My fiction pick for Heads or Tails is going to be X's and O's by Amy Lee. In this, we meet Tara Chin, who in the past has dated 10 different guys who have broken up with her due to her what they call stage 5 clinginess. And Tara is determined to find the one, but she doesn't want to do it through a dating app. And so she's going to go back and try to rekindle some romance between one of these 10 ex-boyfriends. The next prompt I have for the wild form druid is astronomy. And the prompt is a title with 2 letter E's. For this, I'm planning on reading the intimacy experiment. There's lots more than 2 E's in that one. And in this, we meet Naomi and Ethan. Naomi is this entrepreneur who has started up a sex positive business, and in this she's decided she wants to take it to the next step. She wants to teach about intimacy, but no one in higher ed wants to hire her due to what she wants to talk about. So she teams up with Ethan, who is he is a rabbi in one of the local synagogues, and he teams up with her to do this seminar on sex positivity and what intimacy means and all of this. And as in most romances, they find that there is a spark between them. And the synopsis says that they've built the syllabus for love's latest experiment, but neither of them expected that they'd be the ones putting it to the test. This book is also for the Literature Book Club, and all of those books tend to be a lot of fun. There's a lot of steam in them, so be forewarned if you choose to read this that there's probably going to be a lot going on in here, but it looks like a lot of fun. The next prompt I have for the wild form druid is Conjuration, and in this one I have the prompt is Spirit Binding Spells, a book recommended by a friend. So I messaged my little sister and said, I need some help. What's a book you would recommend? So she told me that I should read A Dreadful Splendor by B.R. Myers. This is a spooky murder mystery. And in this one, we have Guinevere, who lives in Victorian London. And she goes around to these lords and ladies and does seances. Well, she ends up in jail and is awaiting the hangman's noose. But instead of meeting the hangman at the end, she is given an opportunity to meet with Mr. Pembroke. Right? Mr. Pemberton, I'm sorry. Mr. Pemberton. And his wife has recently died, and he wants to have one last conversation with her. And so, Guinevere is going to team up with Mr. Pemberton and try to let him communicate with his wife for the last time. This one, my sister said, had lots of ghosts and fun parts, so I am definitely looking forward to reading this one, because my sister has not led me wrong when she's told me a good book. My next prompt for the wild form druid is Elemental Studies, and this is Botanical Control, flowers on the cover. I kind of struggled with this one for a minute because the book I picked is one I have put on my TBR at least 3 times in the last year. So we're going to try again and hope for the best. And that is Kingdom of the Cursed. In this, we have Amelia, and she has sold her soul to become queen of the wicked and has descended into the 7 circles of hell. And she's done all of this to avenge her sister's death. So this one I really loved. What was the first one? Kingdom of the Wicked. Really enjoyed it, and I'm looking forward to finally continuing the series. And hopefully, when I finish this one, I can pick up the 3rd one pretty quickly. The next prompt I have is Spells and Incantations. And this one is the Magic Missile. And my job is to find a book between 389 pages and 415 pages. And for that, I have picked V.E. Schwab's Vicious. This one is has a morally gray character. And we have 2 friends who are college roommates, and they have a falling out. And this book is going to play with 2 timelines, and we're going to kind of have that dual timeline, one starting at one end, one starting at the other end of their interaction with each other, and kind of get down to when they fall out, from what I understand. This is currently a duology, and supposedly a 3rd one is coming out soon, but it's been many years since the first 2 came out. It was originally just supposed to be a duology, but V.E. Schwab has decided to revisit this world. So I'm going to read Vicious for my Spells and Incantations. The next prompt that I have is Shapeshifting, form wolf. So for this one, I have to read a book with wolf in the title, or as the author, or with a wolf on the cover. And for this, I have chosen The Longing of Lone Wolves. This, I'm going to read the back because I think it does a great job at kind of giving us an idea of what's going to happen. It tells us, Rush is a Fey guardian, a wolf shifter whose enhanced abilities have made him a ruthless protector of Elfine. His job is to protect the realm from the human enemy and to ensure the sins of the past never come to pass again, lest magic die forever. But one night of weakness resulted in a curse worse than death, exile. Now he spends his lonely time longing to be part of the living, once again protecting them from monsters, until one mysteriously washes up on the shores of his lake. Clark is human. She's beautiful, feisty, and fierce. She is also the only person who can see him, speak to him, and touch him. If he hands her over to the Order, she's his ticket to having his curse removed. Unable to resist the opportunity, he tricks her into a bargain of obedience, never once suspecting his world is about to be turned upside down. The more he learns about this human enemy, the more he realizes she's not the monster he's been trained to believe. In fact, she's capable of inciting passion he'd never dreamed possible again. But Clark has a message from the past. Sins are already repeating. This time, if they don't stop the coming evil, it just won't be magic that dies. It will be everything. And this is described as a Witcher meets Beauty and the Beast retelling. There are 2 prompts that I have skipped so far because I haven't picked a book for them yet. I'm going to pick them as I go through the month. One of them is The Art of Illusion. focus being disguise oneself. And I am to match my clothes color to the cover color. So when I choose to do this prompt, depending on what I'm wearing, will depend on what book I pick. And then the other one is restoration, and it's occult curses. And you're to close your eyes, shuffle, and point. So what I'll do for this one is I will either write the books out on a note card or a list of books out on note cards and shuffle it up, pick one, or put the books out in front of me, have someone shuffle them up and pick that one. This one I'm probably just like with the matching the color, the cover in my clothes will probably be something that I kind of do a little bit more as a mood read and kind of to tie in certain books that I want to read for my other readathon. The second readathon that I'm doing is Realmathon with covers by Cassidy. In this readathon, we have four realms that are converging on each other, but they're from parallel worlds, and only one can reign. Only one can remain. The others will disappear and not be there. I have chosen the Ilma group, which is focused on sci-fi and nonfiction. So some of the books that I have in my list are ready to read can fit into those. But another book I'm looking forward to reading that is sci-fi is the next Firefly book. And this one is Carnival. Carnival is, or Firefly is following our group of heroes, morally gray heroes, brown coats, who are trying to remain on the outskirts and not in the eye of the government right now. And so they take on jobs, and they fly around space in their Firefly, and they do what they can to continue living and having jobs. So in Carnival, we have Mal has taken on a shipment on this planet that has this huge carnival coming. In the process of all of this, the shipment ends up getting stolen from Mal. And in retaliation, the person who was supposed to receive the shipment has kidnapped Zoe and Book and has told Mal if he doesn't get the shipment back by the next day, that he's going to kill Zoe and Book. And so this one looks like it's going to be one of those, we're going to have some heist, I think, in there, along with some rescues go on. I'm really excited for this. So far, I have loved all the Firefly books, but this one starts something or has a twist to it. In the first 5 books, they were all written by James Lovegrove. This one and following are no longer written by James Lovegrove. They're written by different authors. So what I have come to love with Lovegrove's writing, I don't know if it's going to be there. When I read Lovegrove's titles, I feel like I am watching the show. The characters are exactly how Nathan Fillion portrayed Mal, or Alan Tudyk portrayed Wash. I can see those characters in what I'm reading. So I'm a little leery on this next one because I'm worried that my heart is going to be crushed because it's not going to be the same. But we'll have to see. And the last book that I'm looking at reading with Realmathon is going to actually count as a hybrid genre. This one is a romance and a fantasy, with a little bit of historical fiction put in as well. And that is the third book in the Outlander series. This one is called Voyager. And in this one, we have Claire has found out that Jamie is still alive, that he didn't die at Culloden. And so she has decided, now that Bree is an adult and can take care of herself, and Frank has passed on, that she's going to return to Jamie and hopefully pick up where they left off. I really have enjoyed the reread so far of these, and being able to read one a month has been a lot of fun. The only thing I'm a little concerned about with this month is I've put some pretty substantial books on my list. I currently have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 books on here. And in a normal month, that's a lot of books to read anyway, but it's also our last month of school. I'm writing a final, I'm writing a major test, that or a end of chapter test and a final for my consumer math classes. I'm trying to wrap up everything with my history and my art, and finish some good titles with my elementary literature class. So I have a lot going on, especially in this last month. And with getting my daughter through her schoolwork, there's a lot on my plate. And April's can be hit or miss. I didn't slump real hard in February this year like I normally do. And so I'm a little concerned that that slump is going to come now in April. But we'll just have to see. I have linked below all of the information about the 2 readathons that I'm in, along with the Literature Book Club if you're interested in those. And I will see you soon.